Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta. May all beings be well and happy. Good evening and a very warm welcome to Beyond the Vision, brought to you by the Buddhist channel. So, as usual, you know that we bring the essence of Lord Buddha's teachings and we try to make you say things as they are. So that's our main goal, that's the main aim behind Beyond the Vision. So today also we do have a very important topic that we will be discussing on, which is the last step or the last fold of the Noble Eightfold Path. And you know that we've been having a series of discussions during the past few weeks, and we are coming towards the last fold of the Noble Eightfold Path today. So before anything, my most veneration goes to Dr. Venerable Mirise Dhammika and Mr. Jayaratna, who is here with us. A very good evening to you, sir, as well. So talking about the topic, well, it's right concentration or one-pointedness of the mind. So when I say right concentration, we do concentrate in certain activities that we do in our normal day-to-day activities, isn't it? Because let's take a student who is studying at school, will be concentrating during his or her class work, and in whatever the activities we do, we will be concentrating on it. But are we practicing right concentration? Now this is the question for you. So I think before discussing about anything more, I think we should ask from Venerable Sir as to what Samma Samadhi is, what right concentration is.
By the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you be well, happy and peaceful. Mr. Jayaratna and Dr. Buddhima, I am so happy being here today again to discuss about Noble Eightfold Path. As you asked me how to explain at the first step of this discussion as Samma Samadhi, what is Samma Samadhi? Generally, we are supposed to interpret as right concentration. But there are so many words people are talking about this subject today. Alertness, even mindfulness. Mindfulness and concentration are interconnected. Certainly. Without talking about mindfulness, we are not able to talk about right concentration. Also, without having any connections with concentration, we are not able to talk about mindfulness. These words are interconnected. Also, people are talking about, sometimes penetration, contemplation. There are so many words put in together when we talk about this subject of right concentration or samadhi. Dr. Buddhima, when we talk about samadhi or right concentrations, first of all, we have to talk about what is concentration. As Buddhima, you explained beginning, when we talk to a student, you have to be mindful. That means you have to concentrate on your studies properly. Therefore, concentration means living at the present moment by knowing what you are doing or who you are. What kind of thoughts you are going to create in your mind, what kind of words you are going to express throughout of your mouth or through your mouth, what kind of action you are going to have. This kind of ideas just we have to talk about when we are going to talk about right concentration or Samma Samadhi. At the beginning, Samma Samadhi means, according to the Buddha's explanations, of course, 4 jhanas. Later on, we have to talk about before attaining in jhanas, how to get on, how to step over that. That means, as I explained before, we have to be mindful, at the beginning, and then slowly we have to develop mindfulness while concentrating on one subject. When we talk about Samma Samadhi simply, I would like to talk about 4 categories about that, Dr. Buddhima. First one is Sattaka Sampajanya. Sampajanakari hoti. always you are supposed to be mindful. Sampajanakari hoti. Always you are supposed to be mindful. That means if you are going to be mindful, you are going to concentrate on one subject or one point. According to Sattaka Sampajanya. According to Sattaka Sampajanya, if it is something right, you are supposed to follow it. If it is not wholesome, you are not supposed to follow that. Always you have to focus on something good, something right, something merit, something wholesome. This is what Samma Samadhi simply also at the very beginning, what we are supposed to talk about there. Sarthaka Sampajanya. You know, Dr. Buddhima, as a monk, always I had to think about why I came to this life, why I became a monk. I became a monk because I want to get rid of this samsaric journey. So that's why I became a monk. Therefore, whatever the feelings I'm going to express through my mouth, it should be fit into my career or my monk's lifestyle. Always I have to focus on my livelihood, right livelihood, even as a monk. That means I am thinking about what is wholesome, what is unwholesome. If it is wholesome, of course I am supposed to follow it. If it is unwholesome, definitely I am not supposed to follow it as a monk. As a lay person, when we talk about lay people, they are supposed to follow 5 precepts generally in their daily lives, and then they have to be mindful, while focusing on their day-to-day activities. What I am doing, whether I am going to do something wrong or something good, whether I am going to do something wholesome or something unwholesome. If it is wholesome activities, definitely I am going to follow it. That means, Sattaka Sampajanya, I am going to be mindful while concentrating on wholesome thoughts, on wholesome activities and wholesome speeches, right? Sarthaka Sampajanya. Also, we have to talk about Sappaya Sampajanya. Sappaya Sampajanya. Always I have to be mindful while concentrating on what is right and what is good according to my sila, my moral life, according to my age, also according to my capacity of my mind. Always I have to be mindful while concentrating on my moral life, on my age, on my capacity in this society, even sasana, even ordained society, like this, right? When I think something, if it is fit it to my monk's life, of course I have to think about, I have to continue, I have to go on. At the same time, when I think something, if I feel something bad is not fit into my monk's life, no, I'm not going to follow it, like that. Even see, when we talk about general society, being a mother, according to commentators, in commentaries, they used to say, Buddho viya mata, mata viya buddho. Mother is like the Buddha, Buddha is like the mother. Of course, mothers or parents are still, they are not enlightened anyway. But according to these kind of commentaries, there are some teachings in those textbooks. They are telling parents are, parents should act like Buddhas. Though they are not enlightened people, they should act or behave like that. That means according to Sappaya Sampajanya, they have to think, I'm a mother, I'm a father. According to your career, I'm talking about general audience or society, I am a wife, I am a husband, I am a good or virtuous person. By thinking this way, whatever you think about should be fit into your life. You should be fit into a career like this, Sappaya Sampajanya. At the same time, Gochara Sampajanya, third one is Gochara Sampajanya. Gochara Sampajanya means, Dr. Buddhima, it comes in Mahasatipatthana Sutra under Kayanupassana. Abhikkante patikkante sampajanakari hoti. When you go forward, when you come back, all the time you have to be mindful. I am walking, I am walking, I am going. Though I am holding this body by calling myself or I or me, but still, according to absolute truth, it's not me. It's not me. It's a bunch of skandha. This kind of thoughts, very strong and serious thoughts I have to create in my mind. All the time I have to be mindful while focusing on my bodily movement, right? And then I know, of course, conventionally I am acting, I am behaving accordingly, but still I know this is not my body, though I am calling my mind, right? That means gochara sampajanya. Though you are holding this worldly society all the time to be a happy person, but still you know what is right and what is known according to absolute truth. And last one is asammoha or asammoha sampajanya. That means, again, though I am holding this body and life by calling my or myself, definitely I know this body is not belongs to me. Therefore, I am not going to create any kind of lustful thoughts or greed or anger, jealousy, so on and so forth. By knowing this truth, and then I have to behave well. I have to follow a well-cultured life, right? This is what according to, asammoha sampajanya. The teaching explains like that. Therefore, before talking about, the depth knowledge of Samma Samadhi, strong knowledge of right concentration, and then we have to, pay or lay, the background like this, how to step over Samma Samadhi or right concentration. And then we are able to talk about seriously what is Samma Samadhi or right concentration, Dr. Buddhima.
Yes, Venerable Sir, that's very much important. I think Venerable Sir gave us a clear explanation as to what Samma Samadhi or right concentration is, and what one-pointedness is, and how we can start practicing it. So, now moving on to Mr. Jayanath, now I would like to ask you, sir. Sir, now when we take the Noble Eightfold Path, we have come towards the eighth fold or the eighth step in the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is a path after all. So what do you think is the significance of Samma Samadhi coming as the eighth fold in the Noble Eightfold Path?
To open, I say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I adore to the Buddha and respect to the Dhamma as well as for the Mahasangha, and also with the permission of the Venerable Sir, I would like to explain what is the Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. This is the final one. Samma Samadhi is the final step of the eight noble eightfold paths, final one. So this Samma Samadhi, it comes, the concentration is the finally finished their concentration. For example, if anybody trained their mind through the meditation, and that is come to the fulfillment of final one. So that called Samma Samadhi, final. Samma Ditti at the beginning, and Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kamman, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayam, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. This step bring to the Nibbana, because we are in the, for example, as we think about pagoda, the fundamental things are Saddha, and then come to the Tiratna that we call Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and then the doctrine as following by the Buddhist monks as well as the other laymen and all, and then come to the Four Noble Truths, and then come to this Eightfold Path. The final one is this. Then the power has arises. Now we have to realize the power. What type of power? So then this is the very hard way to explain. It has to be felt by himself, and then others we are unable to explain because we are not come to that standard, but we are talking in words. words by words, and also thousands of words. And through the Buddha's doctrine, we can get it the right understand of about it and other things. So now your question is, I heard that you explain from childhood to from childhood up to the elders to train the meditation. Actually, from the parents given the advice to the children, they are following that path. Therefore, Venerable Sir explained, Buddha Mata, Buddha Pita, or something like that. He explained according to his words. That also can see, but actually today the parents are completely not that type of example given to the society, because we are always listen to the so many errors in the society. So, and also we listen to the some certain bad words from that also. So therefore we have to say, according to Buddha's words, the parents are in that particular part, even though now we have to give the right lessons to them to how to concentrate, how to develop their mind from childhood up to the elderly side. So from child also learning about the concentration, because of they have daily routine, how to control their work and their behavior and their walking, riding and sleeping, eating and schooling and everything they can understand themselves, but there have to be the right pictures to get it of they are to realize. For example, this eightfold path divide in the Sila Skandha. Venerable Sir explained like that: Sila Skandha and the Prajna Skandha and the Samadhi Skandha. Now we are talking Samadhi Skandha. This Samadhi Skandha is the most important side, because everything's clear and come to the right solution now. Then we have to now for example, moonstone, there is one half lotus. We are standing half lotus, then we see the Lord Buddha's face, and then we are thinking this is the step. Now we have reached the Nibbana. So in the particular standard, we are unable to explain in words because of this is the highest position. This is the path to the Nibbana. This is the highest point. After this, there is the final stage comes. That is the Nibbana, which is eternal, we call in English, but this is actually speaking, I don't know that maybe we can't keep like that, but the Nibbana is have to be realized the person who are following the right path. So that is the explanation about it. And then other question you ask, this eightfold path divide into the several facts. Several facts mean it's like a when the person is following like a force. Like a force, we have to train morning, day, evening. So something like that. From day to day, it is rolling. Then in the particular times, we have to also observe. Venerable Sir explained, because their way is complete difference. Our way is completed. But even though we have to follow the same path, whatever he protect with the framework, some certain framework the Venerable Sir is having duties and doing everything. Other people can't hit. But in our case, immediately we are getting involved with the bad things or evils come to very sooner. For them, little coming because of can't force. Society is like that. Therefore, everybody have to have a right concentration to develop their career.
Certainly, yes, that's very much important. So in this commercial world, when we take, we do have certain goals and accomplishments to be achieved in life. That is true. We do have certain goals in life, but the eternal bliss nirvana, this is the highest goal. This is the eternal goal that we are looking forward into. So moving on, Venerable Sir, now when right concentration is considered in the Noble Eightfold Path, we do have right mindfulness mindfulness just before it. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's a path after all. So, what do you think is the link between right mindfulness and right concentration?
Yes. Without practicing right mindfulness, so Samma Sati, we are not able to follow Samma Samadhi. Therefore, first thing is, as I explained before, we have to be mindful all the time. According to Maha Satipatthana Sutra, simply the Buddha explained under Sampajanya fact, Gate tite nisinne sutte jagrite basite tunhi bhave sampajakari hoti. When you walk, gate, when you stand, when you sit down, when you lie down, when you talk or when you speak, and even when you become silent, all the time you have to be mindful. As I explained before, when I walk, I have to be mindful by thinking or by knowing I am walking like that. When I stand, I have to know I am standing. You know, Dr. Buddhima, that means the Buddha invited us to know you are not supposed to violate any kind of rules according to your layman life or according to your monk's life. You know, as a monk, I have to follow 227 precepts, right? For lay people, you are supposed to follow 5 precepts daily. If you are going to be mindful all the time with your postures, that means you are not going to violate any kind of rules. That means you are not going to create lustful thoughts, anyway, attachment and anger or aversion, also illusion or delusion. Whatever the feelings you may get into your mind or heart, being mindful, you know what it is. What should be the result of this thought? What should be the result of this action? By knowing this, understanding or perception, and then you are not going to invite those thoughts into your mind. For my own case, I mean, when I take my own as example, wherever I go all over the world, anyway, it doesn't matter. I know who I am. I am a monk. What I am doing, what I am talking about, what kind of action I have to, take. This kind of, feelings always I am creating. That means I have to be mindful, right? As again, I have explained already, being mother or father or wife, husband, at least being a human, we have to be mindful what kind of character I have to follow. Therefore, all the time we have to be mindful. Anyway, if you know this body is not permanent, that means impermanent. This saying is, this Pali stanza is very popular in Buddhist society, Dr. Buddhima. Sabbe sankhara anicchati. Transient are all component things. Transient are all component things. We are not going to cry anyone. We are not going to invite anyone to cry by thinking this way. Oh, Venerable Sir, why you are going to talk always about death and impermanency and so on and forth? Why always you are going to talk about that? Of course, we are not going to invite you to cry by thinking this way. The thing is, if you are not going to know, if you are not going to know the truth of this world, definitely you are going to violate rules. So that's why sometimes we have to ask some people, dear our Dhamma friends, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Don't you know we are going to die one day? Even tonight, who knows? Even tonight we are going to die. We are going to complete our whole life. Though we are going to, ask lots of things. This is mine. This is what I need. Somehow I have to get it, and then I can sleep well. This is my dream. By saying lots of things, we are going to, fight over little things. Dr. Buddhima, even this sectist society is happening all over Sri Lanka, even all over the world. And then we are asking people, no, stop. Just think for a moment. Everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Even your own body. Think about from the bottom. up to your head. Just think about your own body. How many times you are going to clean up your body? You know how many times you are going to brush off your teeth and wash your face and body per day. But still, when your body gets sick and old, you are innocent. You can't have any kind of control over your own body. And that time we are going to we are going to be help. We become helpless, right? Yes. At that moment. By knowing this truth, please be disciplined. Be virtuous person. You are not supposed to violate any rules or break any precepts. Your best, just follow a virtuous life. That means we are inviting to be virtuous person in this society. And then when we are going to be mindful, automatically we are going to follow right concentration. When we talk about right concentration, according to depth knowledge, Dr. Buddhima, first thing is I have to be a virtuous person, and then I know who I am, what I am going to do. At the same time, what should be the result of my this action? Yes. That means living at the present moment. Certainly. By living at the present moment, and then I am going to have kind of instructions according to 40 type of instructions according to Samatha Vidarsana. We call is a kind of a transcendental, like it's a kind of Western word. Anyway, when we practice the instructions according to Samatha Bhavana, we are going to purify our thoughts. That means we are going to develop our mind. By practicing insight meditation or vidarsana or vipassana meditation, we are going to develop our wisdom. Yes. We are going to develop our wisdom. That means we are going to concentrate on nama and rupa. That means mind and body. And then we can categorize into, dhatu, skandha, ayatana, elements, and then, 4 types of ayatana means faculties, so and so forth. But at the first, very beginning, we are asking people to follow one, techniques of samatha, under samatha bhavana. Just take example with Buddha's character. According to the Buddhanusati meditation, or focusing on Buddha's noble life, now we are going to focus or concentrate on the Buddha. For example, when I recite, Arahang. So, Bhagava itipi Arahang. The Buddha became Arahant. How? The Buddha called as Arahant. Why? That means the Buddha eliminated all kind of attachment and ill will or aversion and illusion and delusion, everything the Buddha destroyed or eliminated completely. Also, the Buddha is the noble and highest person for the all kind of respect in this world. And then I have kind of noble feelings on the Buddha. Oh, the Buddha is noble. The Buddha was the noble person in this world, right? And then I had to respect with my virtuous life. I had to sacrifice my virtuous life to the Buddha. Not only that, I have to follow the Buddha's path. I have to follow the Buddha's noble teachings. How? The Buddha became Arahant like this. Why? The Buddha eliminated all kind of raga, dosa, moha, attachment, aversion or ill will and delusion. Step by step, slowly, even myself, I have to continue my path to develop my mind. That means to destroy all kind of attachment. Slowly, I have to, start it. How? I am having lots of attachment toward, for example, I am having lots of attachment towards my body or my life by calling this is my life, this is my things, this is my career, this is my, according to layman life, this is my house and things. We are having kind of attachment. That means we are inviting sorrows and pains. Yes. If you are having one attachment, if you are having one sorrow or pain, if you are having 2 attachment or 3 or 4 and so on and so forth, up to 10 or 100, you are having hundreds of pains and sorrows, daughter Buddhima. That means when the things are going to lose, that means you are going to have lots of pains in your heart. Why? You are thinking, this is my things, that kind of attachment you are holding. Because you don't want to develop your mind by thinking, this is not permanent. It is impermanent. By knowing the real truth of this world, I have to handle. I have to work with. Otherwise, if you are going to lose things, you are going to cry, you are going to have lots of pains and sorrow in your mind. So therefore, when we concentrate on the Buddha's noble life, we know how the Buddha became Arahant. He destroyed all kind of raga, dosa, moha. Slowly, I have to follow the Buddha's path. I know. Of course, I have to do these things rightfully. As lay person, you have to work harder to study. You have to, make money rightfully. You may have a family. You may, fulfill your duties towards each other in your family and in this society. But of course, you have to follow it. But should be rightful. Rightfully, you have to do everything, because everything is impermanent. The Buddha explained very clearly, even in Sanyutta Nikaya, according to Abhisamaya Sanyutta and Anamatagga, fact. The Buddha explained, Anamataggo yam bhikkave sansaro pubbha kotina panyayati. It's very hard to see the origination of this sansara, the circle of death and birth. It's very hard to see the origination of this sansara. Also, the Buddha explained very clearly, O monks, O devotees, Dhamma friends, you have suffered a lot in your previous lives. By knowing this truth, do not violate any rules. If you are going to lose this noble human life, definitely you are going to reborn in one of hells. By knowing this truth, you are supposed to focus on the Buddha's noble life. We call as Buddhanusati Bhavana, Samadhi, concentration on Buddha's noble character, and then we are going to eliminate our attachment as well, slowly. So that's why the Buddha asks us, just practice dana. Whatever the things, even simple things, just you may, give one to someone. Even virtuous people like monks, also elderly people, even peasants, even your parents, you are supposed to offer with kind of things, right? That means you are giving. You are, cutting off your attachment slowly, and then you may, offer your bodily parts like, eyes and blood, so and so forth. At the same time, like bodhisattvas who are following the Buddha's fast to attain, Nibbana, we call as bodhisattva, they are sacrificing even their whole life. That means we are following the Buddha's path while concentrating on the Buddha's character. That means Buddhanusati. According to 40 techniques of Samatha Bhavana, I explained, Dr. Buddhima, just one. Yes. When we go further, and then whatever the subject we are going to focus on, whatever the point I am going to take over through my concentration, I have to be mindful completely, though whatever subject or person, but still I have to be mindful. That means I'm not going to grasp anything. It's very close to, or it is very attached to, kind of lustful thoughts or anger or aversion. Through my eyes, I'm going to grasp things. Through my eyes, I'm going to grasp things. Through my ears, through my nose, through my tongue, body and mind, I'm going to grasp things. Rupa, Sabda, Gandha, Rasa, Sparsa, Dharma in Pali word, Dhamma in Pali word. At that time, I have to be mindful. For example, with my own, as a monk, when I see you, just I feel, according to the Buddha's advice, Detu mattisu detu chittang upattapeta. I have to keep some thoughts in my mind. See, daughter Buddhima is a daughter. So I am keeping kind of very friendly and very kind thoughts about you. daughter, Buddhima, right? Ditu Matisu, Ditu Chitang Upatva, not only you, even in your life, in your age. You know, all kind of daughters, I am looking at them by thinking they are daughters.
Yes.
And then I am having very nice and kind feelings in my mind. At the same time, Bhagini Matisu, Bhagini Chittang Upatapeta, when I see women, those those people, I mean women are in my sister's age, just I have to think about these women are like my sisters, my elder sister, my younger sister, like that. That means I have no any kind of attachment towards them, you know, which are you know, relate to lust or any kind of, you know, love or any kind of bad thoughts or evil, like that. Also, Matu Mattisu Matu Chittang Upatapeta, when I see a woman who is like in my mother's age, who is like my mother, I have to think she's my mother. They are my mothers, and then I am having lots of, you know, kind thoughts towards them. Always I have to be mindful while concentrating on one pointedness, that means clarity, purity. In my mind, you are not supposed to invite any kind of lust or attachment or aversion or ill will or delusion. I am keeping my mind very clear or purified or purification.
Certainly, yes, Venerable Sir. Actually, when we consider the one-pointedness of the mind, or right concentration, so seeing things as they are, that's what we are looking at. So, as Venerable Sir mentioned, right concentration means we should be aware of what we are doing. We should be thinking what we are doing. If you can think before you speak, can think before you perform an action. I think that's very much important. That would really reduce the conflicts that happen in the society, because we are looking at conflict resolution, isn't it? So to resolve all these conflicts, if we can live in the present world, that is very much important, as Venerable Sir mentioned. I think we've come to the different types of concentration, and Venerable Sir spoke about the Samatha Bhavana, or Samatha and Vipassana. So these are the two different types of concentration. This is tranquility meditation and the insight meditation. So I would like to ask you, sir, so how can a person actually train the mind in terms of samatha?
Time being, we are doing the Samatha Bhavana and the tranquility meditations in the society. Those days, the long time back in this country, people are having Vipassana Bhavana meditation system. For example, Kasina Bhavana. They have taken the Kasina. Looked like Venerable Sir. Some priests are coming, going here and there. Sometimes maybe come to the villages, and they have doing their practice, or they are staying on Aranyasenasana or something jungle, like that. They do the Kasina Bhavana. Those are Vipassana Bhavana sector, and they are doing that way. But nowadays, people are doing Samatha Bhavana. Even though Samatha come to the very soon is a Metta Bhavana. From nowadays, all of the people, all the temples in this country, according to my view, they are following the Samatha Bhavana, which is known as Metta Bhavana. Normally, mother bless the child the morning, protect by the triple gem, and wishing the other words, and also the children saying to the mothers or something like, or teacher say, so something both parties are understand. That way is the Samatha, that is the Metta Bhavana system. So that is the people are following in this society nowadays. But Kasina Bhavana, those are not avoided, but practically people are not doing this society. We are unable to see that also. And whatever the priest explained about sansara, that's anicca vata sankhara. The component things are impermanent, that subject. Actually, people are observing when we are sitting only the funeral site. That is so wrong. We have to explain from like this discussion, this is the meditation. We have to understand every seconds we are deteriorate our life from time to time, from second to second. Why? This is the impermanent things, not a permanent anything in this world. We are unable to touch. Everything are impermanent. He explained well. That's I'm very happy about it. As a priest, in English saying so. So in the other things, the impermanent things are, we are always try to keep as our own things. That is the problem, and all the problems arise from that. Why? Permanent things we are not try to search. The Buddha was searching the permanent things and the permanent place. That is the searching the truth. That is the step now we are talking. Samma Samadhi.
Yes, sir. Actually, that was an explanation as to how we can really practice the Samatha Bhavana, Samatha meditation. So, moving on with Vipassana or insight meditation, Venerable sir. So, how can a person actually step into Vipassana meditation from Samatha meditation? I think this is very much important. And in fact, we are running out of time also, but then we need to look into the jhanas or the absorptions. So, how can a person actually attain jhanas in practicing Vipassana meditation?
First of all, I would like to answer your first question.
Yes.
How to reach Vipassana or insight meditation, through Samatha Bhavana. Samatha or, tranquility meditation is like a bridge to the Vipassana meditation. During the Buddha's time, there are some monks, they became arahant or they got enlightenment, simply without practicing any kind of techniques of samatha, according to the Buddha's sermons, and then they completely focus on or concentrated on anicca dukkha anatta or vidarsana meditation, and then they reach fruition of sotapanna and then sakadagami, anagami, arhat, like that. But most of the lay people and most of the monks and nuns, everybody followed Samatha Bhavana first, tranquility meditation first. It's like a bridge. The Samatha means developing our mind, developing our one-pointedness or oneness of our mind and heart. Coming from this hectic society, this society is so, sometimes so greedy and sometimes so cruel. There are lots of things are happening behind the curtain. At the same time, we are not supposed to forget about that. There are lots of virtuous people. Daughter Buddhima, there are lots of people, they are not, making noise. So that's why we can see easily. Some people are, making noise, and then we can see them easily. But there are lots of thousands and, thousands of people are living all over the world. They are very virtuous. Anyway, and then when they coming from this kind of society, first thing is actually they have to clear or they have to purify their thoughts. So that's why whoever comes to the Buddha asks them, Bhikkhu Silava Hoi. First things you have to be disciplined. Yes. First thing is you have to observe precepts. Yes. Whoever comes to the Buddha, the first step is finding happiness. That means you have to be disciplined. Silava Hoi. After you became a virtuous monk or nun or lay person, and then the Buddha asked to focus on your senses. That means you have to protect your senses from evil world or evil sceneries or evil subjects or evil things. Protect your eye from your evil visual forms. That form is kind of lusty. Lust is a very attached to, greed or kind of evil things. Therefore, you have to protect your eye. Protect your eye when you listen to someone. When you have kind of smell, you are not supposed to have kind of attachment by thinking, I love it, I like it, it's my dream, I have to get somehow. By thinking this way, you are not supposed to follow. You have to, follow 6 kind of senses like that. And then by practicing 10 kind of concentration we are called as dasa anusati. You know, 10 types of anusati contemplation. Also 13 of dutanga and 10 kind of kasina, as Mr. Jayarathne explained. There are 40 techniques. We don't want to follow whole 40 types of techniques. According to your character, you have to choose, with your trained and experienced teacher, you have to choose what kind of meditation technique fit into my life, and then you have to follow it, right? Maybe you may follow 2, 3 or 4 characters anyway. Even during the Buddha's time, the Buddha gave one advice or instruction. After few months, those monks came to the Buddha without having any result, and then the Buddha changed the instruction or kammatthana, and therefore sometimes we may follow one technique under samatha, sometimes 2, 3 or 4. Generally, Dr. Buddhima, before practicing even vipassana or insight meditation, like protections, meditation of protections, protection on meditation, by calling like that, we are practicing buddhanusati, contemplation on the Buddha, also contemplation on loving kindness or metta, also contemplation on impurities of this body, also contemplation on death. Those are kind of 4 types of protections what we are supposed to before following the vipassana or insight meditation. By purifying our mind, also having kind of protections from evil thoughts, even we call as mara. For virtuous people, when they practice meditation, they may have kind of lustful thoughts. Even some monks have this robe. Even very good virtuous people have kind of bad thoughts, and they have violated already, because of we think Dr. Buddhima is the power of mara. We call as evil thoughts, evil power. So that's why before coming to vipassana or insight meditation, we have to purify our mind, and then we have to be very strong-minded persons on one-pointedness, and then we are ready to follow vipassana meditation, insight meditation, because your mind is very clear, you are purified, you are having very experienced mind on one-pointedness or oneness, and then you are having a bridge to vipassana, and then we are asking you to focus on anicca, impermanency, and dukkha, unsatisfactoriness or suffering, and then on anatta, no self-concept. First thing is just we have to explain as insight meditation, you are supposed to see things truly they are. You have to supposed to see things truly they are, what it is, actually, absolutely what it is. You are supposed to see. You have to focus on your mind, that means nama, on your body, or on your kaya. You are supposed to focus on how, according to impermanency, unsatisfactoriness, no self-concept. When we see things truly this body, and then we are supposed to realize this body is not belongs to me. This body is created by 4 elements, Patavi, that means solidity, Apo, liquidity, Tejo, heat, and Vayu, that means wind or air. With these 4 elements, and then this body is created. So we call as sankata, component things. And then sabbe sankhara anicchati, also tinimani bhikkave sankatasa sankata lakkanani, uppada titibanga, arises, persist, and despair. Even this body is supposed to follow this kind of 3 characteristics of sankata. That's the way coming from samatha to vipassana, or development of mind, from development mind to development of wisdom.
Yes, Venerable. So that's very much important. So I think we are running out of time, but there are so much of things to talk about when we consider the samatha bhavana, vipassana bhavana, and in terms of right concentration. So with that, we will be concluding our program today, and my most veneration goes to Venerable Dr. Minister Dhammika Thera and Mr. Jayarathne, who is here with us today. A very good evening to you, sir, as well. So in fact, reminding you our email address. It's beyondthevision.tv@gmail.com. You can send in your queries to us. You can send in your suggestions, which we will be taking them forward in our future discussions as well. So may the Noble Triple Gem bless you all. Samma Sambuddha Saranai.